My thinking is if a team wants a pass rusher that badly to soak up the franchise tag value on their roster, why wouldn't they just use their first-round pick on an outside linebacker or a pass rusher? That's what I would do. That's how I would think about it.
Yeah, I would too.
You know, and just I think that they are best served franchising him and then move. If they don't bring Bud Dupree back, you have created a massive hole at a position where you have no depth.
Nobody. The only guy left, well, two of them, Ola, Adeni, and Tuzar Skipper. Those would be the only options, most likely. And so you couldn't do that. So they're gonna tag him. I think that's all part of the plan. The problem is, how do you get under the cap then? You got to release people, restructure guys.
Well, who are you going to get for much cheaper if you don't franchise them?
I don't know.
Nobody that's worth it.
Yeah, nobody's
and,
worth it.
and then on top of that, we're already arguing without them having a first-round pick, by the way, and a third-round pick that won't come until pick, number 96 or 97, so one in the top 95. Right. We're trying to figure out how they're going to get a tight end, a wide receiver, a running back, and an interior offensive lineman or a tackle, depending on what they do with
That's going to be hard.
That's a lot.
That's a lot
before you create a massive hole by letting go of a linebacker that just had, how many sacks did he have?
11 and a half. Yeah. So here's the other thing. I mean, that money, you don't have to get long-term. Franchise tags are useful for the Steelers. They like them. They've used them quite a bit. And for this 1 year, you can keep them at that price. You can also look to someone in the future because you got to worry about T.J. Watt. He's going to be waiting on deck, and his money is going to be far more than what we're talking about here with Bud Dupree. So at some point, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to manage this situation. My best guess is
this is the year we have to figure out what they're going to do with the fifth-year option.
Right.
And I don't know if they're reticent to do that until they figure out what the collective bargaining agreement is. There's that tricky thing that's going on in the CBA, and I don't know if this is going to be grandfathered in or not, but if you saw the Pro Football Talk story last week, they are thinking about making the franchise tag dollar equivalent to what it would be if you're somebody who's made the Pro Bowl twice in your first 3 years when you get the fifth-year option. And that's something that T.J. Watt does qualify for.
It does, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah, then you'd be setting yourself up for the franchise tag year after next.
All right, let's go to Greg, who joins us on the hotline right now. Hello, Greg. How are you tonight?
Hi, Bob and Tim. How are you guys tonight?
We're good.
That's good. Hey, you pretty much answered my first question on Bud Dupree, so we'll go to the second question for tonight. Do you think it would be beneficial to release Vance McDonald due to his inconsistency and injuries and try and sign Hunter Henry in free agency?
I personally wouldn't do that just because there's a lot of money involved with that. And I know that Vance McDonald's going to cost a lot of money. I'm not sure what their plan would be for tight ends at this point because they
I
put
really
an
like
emphasis.
Hunter Henry.
I like him too.
He
It has
gets
nothing
hurt
to do
a lot
with
too, though.
Exactly. It's the same kind of resume here, but for
Maybe
a lot more
money. Maybe a little gun shy on that after Vance McDonald and Ladarius Green.
Ladarius Green. That was a mistake. We have another tweet.
How did
here.
I get Lonnie Chisenhall and Ladarius Green into the same segment? I'm almost proud of myself for that one.
Jeremy Hillman on Twitter, at KD Pomp, at Tim Benz PGA, says, I like getting Connor Sherry back here, but don't understand why people are so upset about trading, or why some are so upset about trading Dominic Cahoon as if they were giving away Yager in his prime. Well, first of all, they had to give up something. They had no other resource really of value in terms of draft picks. Dominic Cahoon, for whatever reason, was not fitting in here the way they wanted him to. I like Dominic Cahoon. Right now, I would take Dominic Cahoon over Connor Sherry, in my opinion, just because he's younger, and I think he has the goal-scoring ability that can carry you for a couple of years. But for whatever reason, they've decided they're going to go back with a guy they know, who fits here, plays here, over Dominic Cahoon. What did Dominic Cahoon do other than get hurt to end his...
He got hurt, and that's basically it. I mean, much like we just talked about with the tight ends for the Steelers, but... You know, I tend to be with you, Bob. I think that when he was healthy, it took a little bit longer to fit in than they thought. I guess they just soured on him early in training camp and never allowed themselves to get over it. I think they kind of did that with Yuso Ricola this year, too. Sometimes I wonder if they get their minds made up on what guys can't do once they get here, and then they just kind of sit and fester. We talked about Daniel Sprong already. I think Daniel Sprong fits that bill, don't you?
Yes.
So
they got a good player back for him, which I like, in Marcus Pettersson, even though he had a bad game yesterday. I shouldn't have phrased this way. You were right. I put a poll up there and said, which Metro team made out the best? Penguins. I should have taken the. I may redo that and take the Penguins out because I know
everybody's going to say.
Everyone's going to say. But aside from the Penguins, the next team is the Hurricanes.
I think it's the Hurricanes too.
Yes. Then now, again, Islanders followed by Capitals.
That has to be partially the absence of the analysis of what they gave up. And if we're going to be consistent, We all said we didn't care what the Penguins gave up for Zucker because he was worth it to get.
Right.
And, you know, they had huge holes in the blue line, Bob. They had 2 important blue liners go down this year, and they put some stopgap work into that to get Shea and I keep wanting to say Verrata. That's wrong, but whatever his name is, Finette.
Oh, Nick Finette.
No, Nick Finette's the tight end.
Who are you talking about?
The guy that the Hurricanes got. They got 2 blue liners today. Got 2 defensemen.
yeah.
So Vatanen.
Sammy Vatanen's a good player.
Yeah, so they got those 2 guys to offset the injuries, and I also think that I would have liked to see him get the goaltender. I know they can get the Zamboni guy back whenever they want.
David Ayers, they should sign him to a 10-year contract based on what we saw.
But, you know, I think they did a very nice job to kind of stuff some of the issues they were having with injuries to make a playoff run here.
Now it's time for our Tri-State Office Furniture Tweet of the Day. And this comes to us from the Penguins PR staff, Jen Bolano. And this is an interesting stat. With the addition of Patrick Marleau, the Penguins became the first team since the Toronto Maple Leafs. 2004, Mogilny, Nieuwendyk, and Matt Sundin, Ron Francis as well, to have at least 3 1,000-point scorers on their roster. So that's something interesting. The guy brings a lot of talent here. He's older, but he's kind of like Matt Cullen, kind of like Gary Roberts, kind of like what they saw with Billy Guerin.
Did you see that games played list? How many of them were Penguins?
I know.
It's like
it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Francis and Yager and Cullen was on that list too. So
we got to go to break. We'll be back with more right here, Pittsburgh CW.